everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about perks for solo queue. While perks cannot fix some of your solo queue struggles, your perk loadout still plays a pretty vital role in your general experience. I also want to emphasize that everyone is different and has preferences, but for the sake of solo queue, I really recommend running builds that are versatile. Running a build that only addresses specific conditions is a gamble, and often results in plenty of games where you may not get any value out of your perks. An example of this is dedicating 4 perk slots to anti-slugging and then getting it back to killers who simply don't slug. If your build contains at least one of these perks from my list, I think your general experience with solo queue may improve, especially if some of these perks are also present with your teammates. And the nice thing about these perks is they can literally be slapped into any build of yours. Alright, without further delay, let's get into my top 5 perks for solo queue. Number 5, Desperate Measures. An extremely underrated perk in my opinion, Desperate Measures is a teachable perk from Felix Richter, and here's what it does. For each injured, hooked, or dying survivor, increase the speed of your healing and unhook actions by 14%. I'll always take healing speed bonuses and perks because healing perks are generally good, but I think the unhook action part of this perk is often glanced over. Having unhooking speed may not seem all that great, but there are plenty of scenarios I've been in where unhooking speed has made a difference. Solo queue struggles a lot with the concept of double saves, for example. Double save refers to the action of 2 survivors hook diving together in hopes of preventing the proxying killer from getting an easy hook trade. One person takes a hit and runs, buying the other person time to unhook a survivor before taking a hit themselves. I've often found that Desperate Measures helps a lot in these situations. Sometimes your teammate goes in a smidge too early to take a hit before you can get into position, and just a few seconds can lose you time to get the unhook safely. Desperate Measures help alleviate these situations from its unhooking speed. Sometimes that unhook speed from the perk allows the time for the recently unhooked survivor to be able to get in position to take a protection hit for you with their endurance, whereas they didn't have enough time as before. Resilience stacks very nicely with Desperate Measures, and I've also seen people use Desperate Measures and Dead Hard to prevent a trade entirely by themselves. If you've not tried out this perk, give it a go. Number 4, Kindred. This is a base game perk not tied to any survivor's teachable. While you are on the hook, all survivors' auras are revealed to all other survivors. If the killer is within a 16-meter range of your hook, the killer's aura is revealed to all other survivors. Additionally, while a survivor other than you is on the hook, all other survivors' auras are revealed to you. If the killer is within a 16-meter range of the hook survivor, the killer's aura is also revealed to you. Kindred is exceptionally great at boosting your chances of getting unhooked by normal teammates, as they'll be able to tell who's the closest to the hook and who should go for the save. Now, obviously, it's not entirely foolproof, as really selfish teammates exist, and you still might get gens before friends, but more often than not, I have found that Kindred helps me get saved more often than me not having it on all the time. And if you're not the one hooked, then you can still tell whether or not you need to be the person to go for the hook save, which I think is important information. Number 3, Botany Knowledge. This is a teachable perk from Claudette. This is an extremely good healing perk that boosts your healing speed by 50%, which is a very significant amount. Resetting your teammates in a timely manner can be very crucial, especially with fast-paced games with killers that you really don't want an injured teammate starting chases with. I also want to take this moment to say that healing perks play a vital role whether or not the solo queue experience feels good. The difference is night and day when it comes to lobbies that have healing perks and lobbies that don't. The other nice thing about healing perks is that they stack with each other, so you can do some pretty interesting builds with just 2 perk slots. In fact, you could stack Desperate Measures that we talked about earlier in this list with Botany Knowledge, and you would get some pretty good value. The only downside to Botany is it'll reduce your healing efficiency of medkits by 20%, meaning you consume more charges on medkits and thus making you unable to heal yourself all the way with a basic medkit without add-ons or a perk like Streetwise. However, the downside is definitely worth the healing speed of the perk, in my opinion. Number 2, Bond. Bond comes from Dwight, and it's by far one of the most useful information perks you can get. Bond allows you to see your teammates' auras within 36 meters. Seeing where your teammates are comes with some very significant advantages. If you are in need of healing, you can use it to find a teammate to heal you. Or, if you want to find an injured teammate to heal them, this perk works just fine. If a teammate is in chase nearby, you can tell exactly where they are and be ready to leave the area early in the event that the teammate is bringing the killer near you. For those of you who enjoy flashbangs and flashlights, this perk is a must-have to be able to determine where your teammate is going to go down, so you can get in position to go for a blind save. And lastly, if you are in chase, you can use Bond to navigate around your teammates and take chase away from an active gen nearby if possible. Before I get to number 1, here's some honorable mentions. Will Make It. Increases your healing speed on other survivors by 100% for the next 90 seconds after unhooking someone. Empathic Connection. When another survivor is injured, they see your aura within 96 meters and you heal survivors 10% faster. Leader. Increases the action speed of all survivors by healing, sabotaging, unhooking, cleansing, opening, and unlocking by 25% when standing 8 meters near you. This effect lingers for 15 seconds. And number 1, Deja Vu. This is a base game perk that does the following. The auras of 3 generators that are closest to each other in proximity are revealed to you, and you gain a 6% repair bonus while working on them. Always knowing what gen you should be working on can really help progress the game in solo queue. The little speed is nice, but the information that you get from Deja Vu is what makes this perk number 1, and I'll explain why. I always use this perk to break a 3 gen early on in the game. But I also use it as information on where I shouldn't be taking chases. Taking chases away from the 3 gen is very convenient for your team, and sometimes that could be enough to ensure all gens get done. From my solo queue experience, the number 1 reason for games spiraling out of control is just due to how chases are taken to wrong sides of the map all the time, and the killer is able to down survivors and interrupt gens and regress critical gens at the same time. Many of us like to blame random teammates for quote-unquote not having long chases, but honestly, we should normalize accepting that not everyone is going to be strong in chase. I mean, you get matched with people with all sorts of different experiences and hours, and, we just can't expect everyone to have the best chase ever. I'd even go so far to argue that a 30-second chase is still more favorable if that chase is taken away from the 3 gens versus a longer chase, but it interrupts multiple gens. Obviously, every scenario plays out differently, and all in all, it really depends on the game. But I really think Deja Vu makes one of the biggest differences in how survivors handle pressuring a map. Anyways, that's it for my list. Thank you all so much for letting me ramble. If there's a perk I didn't mention but you love, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you give any of these perks a try in your next solo queue game, please stop by my Twitch stream and let me know how it goes. I would love to hear all about it. Link will be in the comments. See you next time.